Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another NIKKE reaction. Today we have So Close, as requested by a few people, just varying over the past few weeks. I know that this one is from the recent summer event, but I didn't hear anything. I played the entire event on mute, and I know that's going to make a lot of people sad, but this is the life I have to live if I'm going to be doing reactions all the time. So I'm going to hear it for the first time now, and without further ado, let's go!
Dreams in a breeze all day. Somewhere by the ocean.
Lord, that reverb is heavy. Yep.
The air is salty and restless, like all the worlds we never met.
They're doing the thing. I'll talk about it, but
making excuses just to stay. The tracks look straight when we just looked ahead, but all the dreams we share now wait ahead.
It's so pretty. And it's so clear too, like obviously I'll talk about that, but for now I'm just gonna take it in. Gorgeous. I see why this was the one a lot of people wanted me to hear. So there was another one, but I saw this one a few more times.
Names scratched into the sea wall, waiting still where we left them.
God, that reverb on the voices is so strong. Not in a bad way. But boy, is it ever present.
Train still falls beside the ocean. The waves still paint the blue. Oh, somehow the view feels brand new.
I'm gonna have to see who made this one. It feels familiar. I feel like I'll recognize whoever the composer is here. I mean, I'm not the only one doing this, right? Just kind of swaying. Great focus on balancing the voice as well. Ooh. Leaving out a little bit of a hang there for the chord. Okay. I love the vocals in this one. Like, mainly because the performance is so clean, but also the fact that the voice itself feels like it's never pushing quite too far beyond where the song feels it needs to level out. I really love it when vocalists know how far to push it, and in this case, just the producer helping out with that, who is, of course, Cosmograph, so no shit, I've heard some of this composer's work. I just didn't know who it could be, but now it totally tracks that there are some similarities I'm hearing with some other work through NIKKE, because, of course, it's the NIKKE guy. It's gonna sound like NIKKE. Anyway, so this song, it did a thing. And what it did is it used kind of like an R&B sort of chord progression, which is really good for this like vocal lead sort of song, this 4-3-6-2 progression. And I'll tell you what the chords are for that in this key, but we're in the key of C, one of the easiest and also one of the most accessible. So it's really nice to hear a song just working through this, albeit I think that the song might have had an additional chord somewhere in there. I feel like it shifted from like an F to a G, instead of just going straight from the 4 to the 3 in that. But again, this is getting into stuff that I was planning on getting into earlier. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a beautiful song because I really like how it just kind of arpeggiates in this C. up to this high G here because you have that note in the chord, but you know, go for the octave, you know, it just kind of works. And it doesn't stay there. It moves that same pattern around quite a bit. But what this does is allow for that constant movement. That arpeggiating, just changing notes as you go around, is a very easy way to keep the song moving and keeping the energy going. And I think that works really well with the flow of the vocals here. So again, this is the 4-3-6-2 chord progression, and there is a little bit of an asterisk to that. But now we're going to get into the nerdy stuff as to why and what those chords are. So what we have for the chord progression here is an F, a G, which is why I was mentioning that earlier, albeit that could just be a 7th for the F. It could be an F7. Not entirely positive, but there are F major 7s in this song. I'm just not sure if that's specifically that one. It feels like it lifts right there, so I think it would go up to that, point aside, down to the E minor, up to the A minor, and then down to a D. And that's an interesting choice because you're modulating a chord that in the normal key would be a D minor. So there is a little bit of that asterisk that I was mentioning earlier. But what this is like I mentioned earlier, it's a very smooth progression. It's used a lot in R&B and jazz, but with that modulation on the end, you're kind of adding this tension back into the song because the song needs to continue. It's not like oppressive tension by any means. It's a very natural feeling one. It works with the song well. Especially if you were to do something like adding a 7th in there, it would kind of blend back in by having that C in the root. So it's possible that there's that going on, but this song has just this beautiful progression, and I love the way that it like just kind of naturally works with how it feels. It's not this would be like the normal 4-chord progression, but the fact that it drops down to the D and keeps that energy moving is what really gets me going. And I think that the reason that modulation works so well is because of that arpeggiating kind of up and down of the C and the G going on, just to kind of, again, keep it going there. And by moving all of those notes around depending on the chords you're playing and adjusting that arpeggiating as you go, you're making room for more options. Like if you were to just have this going on the G for that arpeggio the whole time, you wouldn't really work well with that D there. So it's probably on a different chord when that happens. But all of this is just to say that it is a beautiful song, a great chord progression. I love how he structured this and how he used kind of what isn't what I would call a standard chord progression. It's not like it's unpopular, it's just not the most popular option either. So I like something that's a little unconventional, even though I do enjoy me some 4-chord stuff. There are songs like this where it's like, ooh, there's movement, there's life to it. There's a breath to this song is probably the best way that I can put that. And it feels really nice. The vocals here too. I mentioned a few times the like very, I want to say aggressive, that feels like an aggressive term for it, but they're kind of aggressive reverb on this song. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's like disgusting or anything. I don't think it's too much, but it's kind of bordering that. It's a little bit sharp on that end, and you're kind of hearing a lot of it on the sibilants for like the S sounds coming out of the mouth. So there are parts of it that are like, whoo, that's a lot of reverb, but that also helps kind of create this wash in the high end that blends everything up there nicely together. So even though it kind of comes close to being a little bit too much for my personal ear, it doesn't harm the song at all. It's just noticeable, you know? And that is totally fine. You can totally do that. Again, it's not against the law and it's not too much, so it's not like it's a problem. It's just something worth noting to be careful of that if you're a producer yourself, because that can go too far real easy if you're not too careful. And of course, Cosmograph knows what's going on, so he can do this and he can be comfortable with it. He knows where to stop before it gets to that point. But this was a really beautiful song. Again, I love everything about the chord progression being what it was. That matching to the overall tone of the song was really nice. And just having everything rooted in the piano itself instead of it being a different instrument made it really feel more connected and at home. It felt more familiar and friendly. And again, that works super well for what this song is doing for the story. I appreciate this. I don't really know where this song plays in the story. I can imagine a few spots where it would kind of make sense, but like I mentioned earlier, I've been playing the whole thing muted, so I don't know exactly where it landed, but I like this tone. This energy matches most of what I could see as part of the, like, the slower moments, those sunset moments, those conversations you have with the characters. It just totally works in that context. So I'm assuming that's roughly where this song played, and probably in a few other spots. It definitely isn't like the more high energy sort of sound that would happen during the hijinks, so I'm assuming that might be the other song, but there's quite a few, I'm sure. There's usually about, like, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5 sometimes songs that are made for these events. Point done, though. I think I've made mine about this song. It's a beautiful song. Cosmo nailed it. When the fuck doesn't he? And I suppose that's about all I gotta say here. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else from NIKKE, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!